So what's up, YouTubers? Corey here. Got some free time, and give you one guess what this goes in. Blue and white truck. So today, I ordered all the freeze plugs for it. I got to put a new oil pan gasket on it, and we're going to be putting that on the stand and getting that stuff switched out. But what I've got to do is I have to take it off this stand and put the rear plugs in it first before I put it on the engine stand. And but the biggest thing I needed to do, and I've been kind of hesitant about it because it makes me nervous a little bit, but taking these exhaust manifolds off. And to the problem at hand is exhaust manifolds, they run like 350, 400 degrees. And when they're 50 years old, everything's pretty hot. It's almost like it's welded together, it's stuck. So what I need to do, and I would encourage anybody when they take these apart, is to use heat to take these apart. Don't just grab your wrench or your impact and just start busting on it, because as that bolt backs out, it's going to bind up and they break off. And that's how you see so many bolts broken off. Now, the LS motors and stuff, like what's in the newer trucks and everything, and the Fords, it's because from what I've seen, they use really crappy bolts. I don't know what, they just break off on their own. So, but the thing is, on those, when that bolt goes in the aluminum head, it just seizes up in there. But I've literally seen some of them that they just are broken off from I guess, the expansion and contraction, and as things move when you're driving it. So that's the reason those do that. But what I'm doing here, and I was just kind of piddling around, I took a wrench and kind of went over some of them, because you can feel when one's going to bind up. But I mean, several, like that one, that's backed right out. These two right here, because there's that AC bracket. Again, man, when they put an AC compressor on these, you could have jerked the engine out of this truck without them bolting it before you would have got that AC compressor off, because it's ridiculous how much stuff. But those are large compressors too. But I have that one right there, and this one right there. Those are pretty tight still yet, and they've got that springy feeling that I don't like. So I'm going to get out the torch and start heating those up. I think I got this one on the end here too. Yeah, it's a little loose. I'll put some heat on that one. But yeah, I'm pretty leery about it. And then I want to try to attempt to remove those studs out of that manifold. And then you got to ask yourself, why is he messing with the manifolds, man? Well, one, it's original. Another is like, and I've always been this way, like back in the day, all the old timers, they want to put ram horns in the manifolds or leave them. And I was like, no, man, you got to put headers on it, dude. You need a big carburetor and all that stuff. Well, when you really get down to it, this motor doesn't need headers on it. You know what I mean? Like, the cam's not big enough. 71 to 72, the compression started dropping. Now, if this was a 70 LS6 or 70 LS5 with solid lifters, all that, yes, that stuff needs free-flowing exhaust. It needs a double pump or a big one, all that. But this is still, the horsepower was tapering off. I mean, this is a good running motor, but it's not. I think it's only 8.5. I mean, it's not very much. If it's 9-to-1, I'd be surprised. I think it is like 9-to-1. It's got like a flat top style piston instead of a small dome. But anyhow, it's the way the truck came. It's got brand new exhaust on that I had put on when I owned it previously. I'm not changing none of that stuff. It works. And these things are pretty hard to find. Like, they are actually kind of expensive. So I'm trying my best to preserve all this stuff and keep it original. And it ran so good, it doesn't need to be messed with. So that's why I'm working on that. And then also, being that I was just going to put the motor back in, you think, well, why don't you just leave them on there? Man, these truck bodies, they're not very big. And the problem I was having, that's what took me so long to finally get it freed up, is not because the transmission or that, is because they were touching the frame, that large booster right there. They're flared out so much, they was basically hitting everything. And to keep it from busting this box and tearing a bunch of stuff up, it was very hard to get it out, but I didn't have much room to get in there with a torch and work on it and all that kind of stuff. So I got it out, but they won't be on it when the motor goes back in. I'll bolt them on after the engine's all in. I get the starter on and all that kind of stuff. That's the way I kind of like to do with the manifolds. I like to get all that stuff because actually you put the starter on it and install it with manifolds on, and then put your manifold on after that. So I am going to put a new water pump on it. I am going to check the timing chain and see if that thing's real loose. If it's real loose, I'll put a chain on it. But yeah, I'm just trying to do what I need to get this thing back on the road, because it literally has been the easiest project to get back on the road. And it's like I just forgot it's around. You know what I mean? And that's a good problem to have. I'm very fortunate to have some of the stuff I've been blessed with. But like, you can get overzealous, and that's what, like, watching some of these car shows where these guys get all these cars. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. I love getting all kind of different cars. But once it's all right while they're all running, because this is the first time in a long time I've had this many cars, and just about all of them, something's wrong. Like, it all started when I bought that, and then it all just tapered downhill because, and like I said, when you're raising a family and stuff, your time is limited, and then you've got a bunch of other responsibilities. So, yeah, I may have bit off a little more than I could chew, but I'm just going to chew like hell. So let's get the torch out. Let's get these heated up. Let's get them off. And tonight, my main goal is just to get the manifolds off, and then tomorrow we'll come back and take this motor off the stand, change those two, and they're core plugs, not freeze plugs. But I call them freeze plugs, but they're actually core plugs because when they made the block, they had to have passages to get the sand out of them and everything. But also, they work really good when the motor freezes because it'll push the plug out. So let's get that out. But this will be probably the first time this manifold's ever been off this engine. And here's a good rule of thumb too, if you ever want to try to take it off while it's in the vehicle, is get it really good and hot. Let the truck idle for a while. This manifold, get it up to temperature, and then try to take the bolts out of it. So yeah, that manifold is off. And there's your exhaust ports on the big block Chevrolet. Alright. See those nice new AC Delco plugs? And that, guys, is a wrap for today. See you tomorrow. Day 2. I got the freeze plugs, got all that other stuff. Getting ready to drive this one in. And it's so, well, there's only one right there. No, there's two. I can't see. There's no light. I'm going to knock that one out and change it out. So they're 1 3/4 inches. But I want to show you something I found when I was digging through all my extra tools. So here I found an Auto Trader that I've got in my stash from 1987. January of 87. We have a 67 GTX 440 automatic, sure grip, $1,500. 1970 RT Coronet 440 Magnum. I don't know if it's got a 4-speed or what. It says original 6-pack car, so that would be the V in the VIN, I think. 69 GTO. Here's one that I like. 72 Z28 rear, 2,500 make offer. 71 SS454, so that would have the W VIN, I'm pretty sure. 365 horsepower, 12,000 bucks. That's in 1987. So that still was not that cheap of a car. Here's a 66 Corvette with a 4-speed and a 427, 15.3. But here's another cool one. 1970 Chevelle SS454 LS5, 4-speed, 331 Positrack. Good looking car, $6,500. You can't find a rusty piece of crap for $6,500 in the Chevelle world. But yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a 79 Trans Am, 3650. Or trade for a 426 Hemi. I wonder if he had any takers on that. But anyways, before I get off on this, let's put these freeze plugs. Culprit of why this is even apart in the first place. Right there was where it came from. Now I kind of boogered this up pretty bad, but this is the plug that came out of it. No, it didn't look like this when I took it out. I had to pry it with a screwdriver, blah, blah, blah. But here's the new one. I sprayed a little penetrating oil and a wire brush around it. And all I'm gonna use is this socket that fits in there pretty good and a hammer. All right, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. So really, if I had the transmission out, I could have gotten to that from inside the car. But since I've got them, we're just gonna swap them all out. We got one more right there. And I believe we've got three on this side. I'm pretty sure small block Chevy's got one up here in the front, but so we just got 3 on each side. So I guess 7 more to change, but we're going to bed. Right. I'm not doing it. We got it flipped over. We made one hell of a mess, and that's even with pulling the plug out of the bottom of the block. So that tells you that it just gets stuck in there. There's no way you cannot make a mess. So first time this has ever been off. 1972, and it came off like it's been almost 1972. Two bolts, not bad. Normal. It's hot in that motor. It's like, it's so weird. It tells you how hot it gets in the shop.
Yeah.
There's no ventilation. Wow, man. Doesn't look too bad.
Good.
The stock single roller on it. And these are all stamped and numbered. Usually on the small blocks you gotta stamp them yourself, so maybe it has been apart, but I doubt it. It's still got the little rubber gaskets and stuff on it. So boom, all freeze plugs are changed, oil pan gaskets replaced. Wasn't able to clean that up that well, but it matches well, so. But yeah, this is a good looking little motor, man. Too bad I don't have a Nova or a Camaro or something to put it in, because I don't know, I just like it. But yeah. Looks like these things have been chilling down there with the Titanic. And it seemed like in the front they were cleaner, but as they got back, they got a little bit dirtier. And then I had one mishap where I lost my wedding ring as I was pulling it out, but it landed right on one of the sleeves, cylinder sleeves, so I got it back out. So here we go. I'm gonna try to get this thing turned upside down.
So we're back at it. What are we doing?
So it's Saturday again with really nice weather. And don't we have a storm coming in again?
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're trying to finish what we started before that big windstorm came in. So we have to remove this action, get it out, because it's I'm going to go through. Put my old one out of the green K5 in this so we can still have a rolling good frame. So that's what we're working on. So.
All right, what do you got here?
So we got everything done. So here's the 350 and the 203 out of the frame. You're going to keep the transmission. I'm going to use the case. I just dealt for the Scout's transmission and transfer case. That's another turbo 350 with a GM 208 case. So that'd be 1981 to 83. And then they started going to 700 R4. So that's going to get the Scout. I got to do a slip yoke eliminator on that. It looks like crap, but it's going to work. It's exactly what I've been looking for. Then that's the front Dana 44 with 373s and open diff. That's the 12 bolt with 373s and an open diff. I'm going to clean all that stuff and take it apart and just get it ready to go back in the green Blazer. So all that work to make it look like we've done the exact same thing that we took apart. But there's actually a rhyme and a reason for this. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I got that and the guys delivered it today. They're super awesome guys and everything. Got a decent deal on it. So this has got the short adapter, and these have the long adapter. There's two different adapters for these turbo 350s, and I got the short one, which is what I was needing. But yeah, so now figure out which engine I'm gonna put in the Scout. But I've got the transmission case I want for it. So yeah,
Not a bad day.
Get this crap moved around without pulling something on our back.
Get her cleaned up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, engine hoist is the savior of the day.
And what sucks is we've had that stuff forever and we don't use it. We just muscled it around. And it's like pull a few muscles and you're like, no, let's take a step back.
Do it the smart way.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah.
Getting old.
Good to go, man. Hey guys, we've got the 72 Chevy motor. Freeze plugs are changed. Oil pan gaskets changed. Everything looked good. So as soon as I get Matt over here, we're going to flip this thing upside. I didn't clean the pan up all that good and everything because like I said, and I power washed the absolute bejesus out of this thing, man. And it's still dirty. But I could wash it, but I don't want to get it all wet, you know. And then, let me think. So that's ready to go. So all I got to do, I got the new mounts. I got to clean the engine bay up and do some painting. We got to get that set in there, man. And that truck will be, you know, back up and running, and I can start bolting parts on it as I have time. And then, as you see what I was working on yesterday, let me switch to. I was able to deal for a turbo 350 with the, I can't remember the 6-inch, whatever the adapter is, and an MP 208 transfer case. Now, you seen the video yesterday when I picked it up, it was like a grease ball, man. You can definitely tell, and it was in, they said it was in an 80s square body, but you can definitely tell they were out at the mud bogs with it because it was completely covered up. They were definitely under the consumption of some bush light. A lot of bad decisions, but cleaned up pretty well. But I'm going to try to see if when I take that Blazer trans over there, if I can get this one rebuilt as well, because this is going to go in the Scout. This is the transfer case I want. This right here is going to get a slip yoke eliminator. That's the transfer case out of the Blazer frame we're going to put back in the green one because the green one has something broken in it. That transmission is going back on match shelf. That's a secondary. This is the Dana 44 out of the frame. It's got 373s in it with open diff. I'll be disassembling most of this and cleaning it up and painting it and changing what I need to change. All this stuff will be replaced. Here's the rear axle. If you saw in the other video, it's pretty rusty and dirty inside. But I'm going to pull this one completely apart and wash the housing, do all the seals, and get it all cleaned up. But that's, man, got some work done this weekend, so I'm pretty that's what we got done this weekend. It's been a good weekend. So, yeah, looks like we've been junkyarding, but it's pretty awesome, man. I'm glad to have that stuff out of the way. I still don't know what motor I'm going to go with in that Scout. Like I said, I got a ways to get to it, but knowing what drivetrain I'm going to be going with helps out a lot, and getting it secured and getting it here, I feel a lot better. I'm pretty stoked about that. But, oh, I got to put the motor up too. I forgot about that. A lot of loose ends, man. But yeah, I'm going to get ready to go to work. Hope all is well. If you like what we're doing, subscribe. Got some more stuff coming, so